The standard TIE fighter is the baseline for everything else in the TIE family, a flying symbol of the Empire's doctrine of quantity over quality. Its design is brutally simple. A spherical cockpit pod mounted between two large hexagonal solar array wings on pylons, with the TIE name coming from its twin ion engines that provided incredible acceleration and maneuverability in vacuum. Those solar panels fed energy to its compact reactor, reducing fuel needs and allowing the Empire to field TIEs in massive numbers without worrying about long-term resupply. To keep cost and mass down, the TIE had no deflector shields, no hyperdrive, and only minimal life support. Pilots wore sealed flight suits with portable systems, and the fighter had to operate from carriers or star destroyers for hyperspace travel. Armament was limited to a pair of chin-mounted laser cannons firing green bolts, which made the TIE dangerous in swarms but individually outclassed by X-Wings and other rebel fighters that had shields, hyperdrives, and heavier weapons. Imperial High Command didn't care. The standard TIE was cheap, fast to build, and terrifying in numbers, turning individual expendability into a tactical feature rather than a flaw. The TIE bomber takes the fragile knife fight profile of the standard TIE and turns it into a slow, brutal sledgehammer designed to tear apart capital ships, stations, and ground targets. Instead of a single cockpit sphere, the bomber uses a twin-pod configuration mounted between shortened solar panels. One pod houses the pilot and control systems, while the second is a dedicated ordnance bay packed with warheads, proton bombs, space mines, and heavy torpedoes. It sacrifices maneuverability and speed for payload capacity, flying noticeably slower and more sluggish than a standard TIE, which makes it vulnerable to enemy fighters if it operates without escort. However, when protected by interceptors or standard TIEs, a squadron of bombers can gut a rebel cruiser, flatten surface installations, or crater shield generators in a single coordinated strike. Its lack of shields and hyperdrive remains consistent with Imperial doctrine. Bombers are meant to launch from carriers or star destroyers, deliver overwhelming damage in a short window, and then retreat behind the fleet's screen before enemy starfighters can shred them. The TIE Interceptor was the Empire's answer to rebel superiority in dogfights, designed specifically to counter and outperform X-Wings through raw speed and agility rather than durability. It keeps the same core ball cockpit and twin-ion engine concept as the standard TIE, but replaces the hexagonal panels with aggressive, dagger-like bent wings that extend forward, reducing profile and improving maneuverability while mounting additional laser cannons on the wingtips. Most interceptors carried 4 wing-mounted cannons plus upgraded fire control systems, allowing them to unleash significantly more firepower per pass than a standard TIE while turning tighter and accelerating faster, making them lethal in the hands of skilled pilots. However, in classic Imperial fashion, the Interceptor still lacks shields and a hyperdrive. It remains fragile and entirely dependent on capital ships for strategic mobility, meaning even top-performing pilots can be lost to a single mistake or lucky enemy shot. Despite this, the Interceptor quickly became the preferred craft for elite squadrons and Imperial aces, embodying the Empire's philosophy that superior speed, aggression, and numbers could offset the absence of defensive systems. The TIE Advanced X-1, most famously flown by Darth Vader at the Battle of Yavin, was a prototype that broke almost every rule of standard Imperial starfighter doctrine by finally giving a TIE shields and a hyperdrive. It retained the familiar spherical cockpit, but replaced the flat hexagonal panels with bent wings featuring partial solar arrays and integrated maneuvering surfaces, improving stability and control while keeping the iconic TIE silhouette. Under the hull, the X-1 housed a more powerful reactor, deflector shield generator, and a Class 4 hyperdrive, allowing it to operate independently of carriers and survive hits that would instantly destroy a normal TIE. Its upgraded laser cannons delivered heavier, more accurate fire, and advanced avionics gave Vader superior targeting and situational awareness in combat. The problem was cost. Each TIE Advanced was far more expensive and complex to build than a standard TIE, so the design never went into full-scale production. And the Empire instead used it as a test bed that eventually informed later designs like the TIE Interceptor and other advanced variants rather than as a frontline mass fighter. The TIE Defender was the Empire's attempt to create the perfect starfighter, finally abandoning the no shields, no hyperdrive doctrine in favor of raw superiority in every category. It featured a central cockpit pod surrounded by 3 angular solar array wings mounted in a tri-wing configuration, giving it exceptional stability, all-around visibility, and a distinctive menacing profile. Unlike standard TIEs, the Defender came equipped with deflector shields, a hyperdrive, advanced targeting computers, and a much more powerful reactor to feed all of those systems, plus its heavy armament. It carried multiple laser cannons, warhead launchers, and sometimes ion cannons, giving it the ability to dogfight, disable ships, and punch through capital ship defenses in a single platform. On paper, the TIE Defender completely outclassed Rebel Starfighters, faster than an A-Wing, tougher than an X-Wing, and deadlier than a B-Wing. But in practice, its astronomical cost and complexity meant it could never be produced in the numbers needed to replace the cheap, disposable TIE fighter swarms the Imperial Navy was built around, relegating it to elite units and limited deployments rather than becoming the new standard. The TIE Phantom took everything terrifying about Imperial starfighters and added one more layer, which was near-total invisibility. Built around a compact central cockpit with 3 small, angular wings, the Phantom's defining feature was its Stygium crystal cloaking device, which could bend light and most sensor scans around the ship, rendering it effectively invisible to both the naked eye and standard detection systems when active. In addition to its cloaking field, the Phantom carried shields, a hyperdrive, and upgraded laser cannons, making it far more capable than a normal TIE even before factoring in stealth. A cloaked Phantom could slip past defenses, line up a kill shot on capital ships or key targets, strike, and then vanish again before enemy gunners could react. The downside was cost and fragility of the cloaking tech. Stygium crystals were rare, the systems were difficult to maintain, and any serious damage could knock out the cloak and leave the Phantom as vulnerable as any other fighter. Because of this, the Phantom program never reached full-scale deployment and remained a specialized black-budget project for elite units and covert missions, rather than a common sight in Imperial battle lines. The TIE Reaper was a specialized variant designed not for dogfighting, but for troop insertion, support, and battlefield control, blending transport functionality with the TIE design language. It featured an elongated cockpit hull with a larger internal volume to carry troops or cargo, flanked by angled, folding wings with solar collection surfaces and control surfaces that gave it impressive atmospheric handling compared to most TIEs. The Reaper came equipped with deflector shields, a hyperdrive, and powerful engines that allowed it to keep pace with fighter screens, while delivering squads of stormtroopers, death troopers, or special forces directly into hot zones, often under fire. Its armament was lighter than frontline fighters, typically a pair of laser cannons and optional heavy weapons, but its real value lay in its ability to insert troops surgically, deploy them quickly, and then remain on station for fire support, sensor coverage, or rapid extraction. In operations like the raid on Jeddah and other covert missions, the TIE Reaper served as the Empire's go-to platform when it needed to move elite personnel with speed and precision while still fitting inside the visual and logistical ecosystem of TIE-based space frames. The TIE Striker marked the Empire's push into versatile atmospheric combat, trading deep space endurance for unmatched agility in planetary skies and low-orbit skirmishes. It sported a distinctive elongated cockpit with a cluster of 4 short dagger-like wings in a unique bent double-wing configuration that maximized lift and maneuverability while channeling solar energy efficiently. Equipped with powerful atmospheric engines, laser cannons, and missile launchers but lacking shields or hyperdrive, the Striker excelled at rapid response planetary defense, anti-insurgency patrols, and escorting ground convoys, where its speed and handling let it shred rebel gunships or snub fighters before they could gain altitude. Seen prominently in the skies over Lothal during Imperial crackdowns, the Striker embodied the doctrine of cheap, swarmable fighters optimized for specific roles, here dominating a planet's atmosphere with hit-and-run tactics that overwhelmed slower, more heavily armored opponents. Though vulnerable in vacuum, its role in hybrid space-ground operations made it indispensable for garrison worlds, proving the TIE lineage could conquer gravity as ruthlessly as the Void. But have you wondered why TIE fighters were so successful in the Galactic Empire?